So this is the frame for the window. It was about a meter long before, and I had them cut it in half. So now it's 50 centimeters deep, 50 centimeters tall, and then a meter and a half long. I do have both the entryway and the walkway arches done, so I'll show you. So that's that archway is, you know, there's an arch there now, even though it's not fully, you know, it's not all the way, but I have it enough that now I can build up the wall against it. Same with that one. But so far, dome is going good. We're above parallel currently, so we're starting to close the dome in. So that's really nice. And the window's looking really good also. I think I really like the window. It goes by really fast whenever I have a helper now, because all we're doing is laying the bricks. We don't have to really worry about anything too complicated. Yeah, that's what we got going on. Whew. Super exciting stuff. I can't wait to close the dome in. Okay, let's get going again. See you guys later. Oh yeah, I shaved my beard. It was getting a little bit long. Yeah, I started the foundation for the second dome. Let me switch this around. I don't know if I can. So that's our dome there. Foundation. I set up the outer circumference of the dome, and yeah, I'm just laying down some rocks, trying to make use of the twilight, because I usually start to pack up and go home at this time, but I'm a little behind on the work, so I'm trying to gain like an hour or two every day. So in about 4 weeks, I would have gained back like, I don't know, a couple of days. But I know I still have so much energy, like this time, probably around 7 p.m. And I have so much energy that, I'd rather use it all up here than go back to my house and do nothing with it. So, okay. It's another beautiful sunset. So nice. Sorry for the grainy video. I'll show a better, I used tomorrow I'll put it up in video, but I wanted to show that, yeah, for my own memories, that this is what I was doing. There's bats flying everywhere. I don't know if you can see them. Let me see. Yeah. I love bats. I'm gonna figure out a way to, find out what kind of bats are around here and see if I can build up like a bat house for them, because we need them. We need them to eat all the mosquitoes. Okay, dome house is looking really nice. I guess we'll see you guys later. Okay, so it's lunchtime. We're above the window now. Today we're going a bit slower because we have to keep moving the ladder. Plus it's a little overcast, so the brick is not drying as quickly, the mix. It's saying that it might rain tonight, so we'll see what happens with that. The only thing that I guess I kind of worry about is if it rains a lot, the floor doesn't have a nice like gradual slope towards the door. It kind of pools right around here, this area by the compass. I don't know. So hopefully it doesn't rain a lot and this thing floods. But other than that, things are looking good. I'm really excited to close this in. I got a little bit more mix, so I'm gonna continue doing that, and then once I'm done with the mix, I'm going to start. Well, not start, but I'm going to finish laying out the foundation for the second dome. And I also brought my headlamp today, so I'm gonna stay later today to do this. I think by the end of next week I can have this whole thing done, the floor, because I already know from experience with this dome, I know more or less how to get this one done faster. Not as much digging this time around and not as many rocks, hopefully. Although it is this area right here is gonna have to be higher, so I'll lay some more rocks there, but here is already at level basically, and so I don't have to do much with that. Okay, let's get a little bit of a snack going, and then let's finish finish doing the bricks. It's looking really good. Super excited for this. I added some reinforcement to this top right here. I added 2 pieces of rebar, but I think the design itself with the arch, that way is strong. It's just more about right here, but it looks like it's holding for now, even though like this thing kind of broke, and then it doesn't look like it's the force coming down this way, but I'm still going to add some reinforcement, something like over here, so that over time as I lay more brick, this thing doesn't start to like sag inward. But yeah. So yeah, let's get some lunch and then let's continue. Okay, hello everyone. We're back here in the old dome, main dome, dome number 1. Just wanted to give you an update. It's been a few days since I was working. I've had family events, so I haven't been really working. But well, actually I had a half day yesterday, and then it's about noon today. I have my helper Sergio helping me, but here, let me I wanted to show something, kind of an issue challenge that has come up, and I wanted to show everybody. Hold on, let me change it up. Yeah, so we got a bit of a you could say it's a problem or a challenge. I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, it's not gonna derail the whole thing. But I sort of knew it was going to happen, and I was trying really hard to make sure that it wasn't happening. But before I show you what's going on, let me show you what why this problem happened. Well, I have to show you what the problem is before I tell you. I'll show you why I think it's happening, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing to correct it. Okay, let me turn this around. Okay, so we have the old compass here, and the compass helps me. It shows me where to place the bricks. I think I've already mentioned in another video that there's a few wonky things about what's going on here. First is the compass itself has a bit of a, it moves a little bit. It's hard to tell here, but it moves quite a little bit. And so whenever you're placing the bricks, you have to adjust the bricks as you go. Otherwise they're not placed perfectly. So I thought I was adjusting as I went along for it, but here's what's going on. So that's the layer of brick that I did today. I have 2 layers already going, and then I'll just go along the circumference and see if you can spot what's going on. Okay, that's where I am right now. So follow that. Almost there. Almost there. And we're back. So I'll give you 10 seconds to figure out what was going on. Let me go again. Okay. Okay, 5 more seconds and I'll tell you what the issue is. Okay, that's it. Let me show you what's going on. So I'm already on this layer of brick. So whenever I finish this layer, it's going to finish with this brick right there, which means that for some reason, I'm putting the bricks up on a slight slant. So this side of the building is 1 brick higher than this side, or it might be vice versa. I forgot, but you can kind of tell it's a little higher. So I was scratching my head. I knew it was kind of happening, and when I was about right here, about hip height, I've noticed that it was sort of happening, but it was only off by like this much, maybe an inch. But as I've gotten higher, it's gotten worse and worse, and now I'm 1 full brick off, and one brick is that's about 4 inches, or I don't know what that would be, like 15 centimeters. So I'm off by 15 centimeters. And so that would be about 1 centimeter per meter. So for every meter that I go, I'm off by like this much, this 1 centimeter. And it's really hard to tell as you're putting the bricks up because it kind of looks level, but it's not. And it's kind of an issue because whenever I'm closing in, it's going in a spiral, and I don't want a spiral. I want like each layer to be fully, each ring to be like the same level all the way around. I don't want the spiral. So I was wondering like what's going on, or what is the problem here? Because the compass, it's level this way, it's perfectly vertical, and this way and that way, so it's perfectly level. And then the compass arm is only off by a little bit, but that wouldn't contribute to the problem. What I realized happened is, I don't know if I have my level here. I'll show you what the issue is. And I'm glad I found it, because now I'll be able to fix it for the next dome. So right here, if I put the level there, that's pretty level. Then if I put the level on this side, you could tell that it is off. So it's off by, so that's not level, and then that's level. So it's off by 0.5 centimeter right there. So what the issue is that whenever I cut this piece of wood, I cut it at a slight slant. And whenever I place this, even though, I placed a piece of wood and it's level this way, it's level this way, every way, the actual top, I never measured. So now, whenever the compass arm goes along, it's going, and then it slowly kind of slopes downward because the slope is down here. It's lower here than it is here. So this is higher, this is lower. So whenever I'm like coming around this corner here, it's starting to lay the bricks a little lower. And it's really hard to tell. But, so yeah, that's what's going on. You couldn't tell that it was happening because this whole thing looks pretty level, but then whenever I joined this side of the wall, which I was building by itself, whenever this side joined up at the top, then I truly realized what the issue was. And it's kind of embarrassing because, well, it's not embarrassing, but I have a helper here who's been doing this for a long time, and he kind of noticed it, and then it's kind of embarrassing. But it's my first dome ever, and I didn't realize it. So now I've learned this mistake, and let me show you what I'm doing to correct the issue. Okay, so I know that over here, whenever I'm on this side, it's starting to slope downwards. So in order to avoid the issue, what I'm doing is I need to gain about 15 centimeters in about 10 meters. So 1 centimeter per meter. So what I'm doing is, as I'm laying the bricks, if you notice, these bricks have a little bit less mortar, and then these bricks have a lot more mortar. It's kind of a bigger jump. So what I'm hoping is by the time I get to about 5 more meters, or about there, I'll be like this much higher. And then by that point, I don't want to put too much mortar up. So what I'm going to do is get it enough like this much higher, like 7 centimeters higher, that I'll be able to fit one of these common bricks, as they call it. This common brick in between. And so I'll be able to like get it hopefully above here. So I'll be about halfway there, and then on the second go around I'll be level fully. So I'll take 2 rounds going up to level it. That's the idea, at least. We'll see what happens. I'm also going to take the compass arm off, I think, and then try to level it, or put a shim on here, put a shim down there so that it's level. Hopefully that fixes the issue. But yeah, that was kind of interesting, and hope we figure it out here. Okay, I think I fixed the issue more or less. The brick going, so I started there and I went around, and by the time the brick came this way, it was 1 brick off. So what I ended up doing was, I noticed the issue when I was right here, so I started adding more mortar underneath the bricks. So that one's a little higher. But what I ended up doing was, I knew that it was 2 bricks high. So by the time I got to here, I wanted to be 1 brick higher. And so I added a layer of brick, the common brick as they call it, all the way around to there. And then I needed to be 2 bricks higher by the time I got there. So from here to here, about here should be about 1.5 bricks higher. So from about right there, I started adding more mortar to the mix. So by the time I got there, you know, I'm only about instead of 1 brick higher, I'm only about 80% there. So if that makes sense. 80% of a brick is what I got to there. But that's not a huge issue. I also, what I ended up doing was, I hooked up my water level, and I set it all the way to where that first brick is, the one that I want everything to be level to. So I put it there, and then I put the level on the bamboo stick, and so I'm able to see what level I'm at. So what I noticed was, about right here, I'm about this much off. So right now, you can see the whole dome. As I start to close this in, what I'll start to do is, I'll put less mortar there, and then more mortar as I get here, to make up that little bit of difference that I have left. I also fixed the root of the cause, which is this compass arm. It was low right here, and then it was low here. So it was sloping this way a little bit. So that means that this part, when it was pointing this way, it was higher, or like, yeah, it's hard to explain, but when it's pointing 12 o'clock, it was high. When it was pointing 6 o'clock, it was low. So I was starting to fill in the bricks lopsided, and that was a big mistake. So I shimmed it up with looks like this nail, the screw, and then I shimmed it up with these things right here. So now it should be perfectly level. Let me show you. Kind of. It's not perfect, but it's perfect enough. That's, yeah, right there. That's it's actually still a little off. I'm gonna fix it now before I start the next round. So that's a level there, and then it should be higher this way. So right now the level is right there, and it's got to be right there. So I gotta shim up this side just a tad bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, crisis averted for now. We'll see what happens as I start to as I start to go higher and higher. Okay, let's get back to it.